Joining us live is the Shadow Housing Minister Michael Sukkar. Michael, thanks for your time as always. So let's start with that. So the 10K, it's going to be spaced out over 3 years. You got 4K, and then 2 to complete the third year. What are your overall thoughts on it so far?
Well, I think not unusually for this government, they've closed the gate after the horses bolted. We've lost 80,000 apprentices and trainees since this government came to power. As Matt Canavan was just saying in that clip, they removed previous support that the coalition had in place that was successfully encouraging people to take up apprenticeships. And now we've seen housing starts absolutely fall through the floor, housing affordability getting worse than it's ever been, fewer homes being built now than were built under the former coalition government. And why does it take an election for Anthony Albanese to admit they got it wrong when they changed those rules? And I mean, obviously apprentices have been smashed in Albanese's cost of living crisis. So this is, in a sense, $1 short and a day late, but finally they've seen sense at the idiotic decision that they took early on to remove support for apprentices.
Yeah, look, just a point on the take-up, because there's some conjecture around that. Wasn't your program nixed because of slow take-up? Just elaborate on that point. Was it successful or not?
Well, look, as the Shadow Housing Minister and the former Housing Minister, Pete, I can tell you any approach that increased the numbers of apprentices entering the residential construction industry, I saw as a great success, because for many years we had seen it get more difficult for employers in particular to take on young apprentices. Then we saw completion rates of apprentices getting worse, which is why we acted. And it was definitely moving in the right direction. So why on earth Labor would make that decision at the start of their term and now belatedly admit that they got it wrong, I suppose it's better late than never. But sadly, we've lost 80,000 apprentices and trainees in that time. So there's been a huge cost to Australians through that decision by the Albanese government. So look, we think we can support this because in a sense it's taking us back partly to a position that the coalition had.
All right, so just on that final point there that you make, so you'd support it?
Yeah, we think we can support this. I mean, in the end, apprentices have been smashed under Anthony Albanese. The building industry has been smashed. We've seen more administrations and liquidations in the building industry than we've ever seen in a lifetime. We've got fewer homes being built. We've got fewer first home buyers. We've got less houses being approved. And Labor talking about their 1.2 million homes promised, it's an outrage that they still even talk about that. They're hardly going to reach 800,000. They're not going to miss by a smidge, Pete. They're going to miss by 400,000 homes. Yeah. Why? Because they have no idea how to build homes, and that's why we're building record low levels of homes.
So do you think this will work? You do say that, and the master builders reckon it's 350,000, close to 400,000 that they're going to be short. So what do you do to make up that shortfall? Will this help?
Well, I think the proof will be in the pudding. In the end, anything that can retain apprentices and encourage potentially new people to enter the industry is a good thing. But I think sadly at the moment, as I travel around our country, there are many people currently in the industry who, particularly under this government, finding it harder and harder to keep their business afloat to start with. And before you have an apprentice, you've got to actually have a business or an employer who's willing to employ them. And it's never been harder in the industry. The government has not put in place one measure that has built one home in this country in 2.5 years. They're running on the fumes of the former government, but that's running out, and that's why, again, 400,000 homes short, Pete. We're not talking making a promise and missing it by a little bit, in which case you say, well, good on you for trying. They're going to miss by 400,000 homes. To put that into some context, in the last 5 years of the coalition government, we did build more than 1 million homes. Now it's going down to 800,000. And whilst it's going down to 800,000, Anthony Albanese is running a world record migration program with no idea where more than 1 million migrants are going to live. You can understand why the industry is in many respects in turmoil and why less houses are being built. So this is very belated and small, but given apprentices have been smashed by this government, it's better than nothing.
Okay. We'll leave it there, Michael. Thanks for your time.